Macca, I imagine Liverpool are number one for you?
Well, yeah, of course.
That's it. Let's all go home. That's all done.
Well, I mean, they won the league at a canter last year. They've invested well. They're going to invest again. So it's only right that I choose them. I've chose Manchester City second because of their investment. I just like the way that Pep's gone about choosing his players and the way they've played. I think the Club World Cup might, with Rodri's injured at the minute, which I hate because he's a fantastic player who's had terribly bad luck. I'd like to see him back, and I think he'll make City tick better. But their signings, I think, were good signings, and even Arsenal signings. I love Zubimendi, and they bought the centre forward that they need.
Right.
So they'll be better. But I think it was only natural to go with Liverpool.
Well, I suppose the concern is that other teams have got a lot better and then City won't be as bad as they were last season.
No.
Arsenal won't be dropping the points in the same manner in which they did as well. So that's why maybe it's going to be a lot closer.
I'll go along with that. As I said, I put Manchester City second above Arsenal because of those concerns. I just think City and Chelsea playing in the Club World Cup, I just think it'll take them a lot longer to sort of get into gear. So that's the one thing at the back of my mind that keeps worrying me. The fact that they've had a lot of the players had a hard summer the year before. They've had another hard summer this year. They've got the World Cup coming over. That was in my thought process when I ventured towards Liverpool, who've had a really good summer off.
It's interesting you've got Manchester City second ahead of Arsenal. Defensively, City still have got a lot of questions to answer, haven't they?
Well, yes, but they bought a lot of players in January. They bought more players.
But no defenders. No, well, that Aït-Nouri, obviously, on the left.
Yeah,
but you still...
They bought in the Ukrainian, the lad from Georgia, was it, as well? So and the Vita Rice came in. So they've got more players there. I mean, this is the players they brought in recently. They brought players in January.
Yeah, the ones in January didn't light up the defence.
No, but it doesn't matter. They've had 6 months at Manchester City. They know the system. They know Pep. They know their teammates. They're older. They're more experienced. So I expect them to be better than what they have. Coupled with the new signings, who are certainly Rangers, Cherki and Aït-Nouri are experienced and know European football and know the Premier League. So I think City will be a lot better in that respect.
May I?
Go on.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think a big deal for City last year defensively, because in the years gone by when they've won the league, people might not like the look of their defence, but they'd always end up with either the best or second best defensive record. That was something that would happen. And last year, Nathan Ake, Manuel Akanji, Ruben Diaz, John Stones were all in and out of the team for the entirety of the season with injury.
With injuries, yeah.
Yeah, and so this was for a long period of time. And at that point... Yeah, listen, we're former City colleagues. Yeah, you forgot that, didn't you?
If City lose 6 players through bad injuries, or Liverpool lose 6 players through bad injuries, they will not win the league. 100%. We understand that. So there's reasons why teams struggle, and City struggled last year because of the reasons that Nedum said to you. And they could
that's an easy out, though.
No, but
it's an easy out because they lost Rodri and because they didn't have a solid back four.
Why were Arsenal not as good last season?
Well, obviously, they missed players as well.
No way.
But then, the problem with Arsenal is they didn't have a striker. They've addressed that.
That was what it was.
That was a big reason.
And City have addressed their problems. Players are fitting well.
Right.
They bought more players in January. But
then we kind of throw in, well, the only reason Liverpool won the league is because they didn't have any big injuries to their big players.
That is part.
And then this is kind of part of the cycle. I think injuries is too much of an easy out.
No, it's not.
Looking at this City size.
What I would say, it depends. Firstly, for me, and this is general for like any team, it depends on the number of injuries and the injuries themselves. Because, for example, with Arsenal, Saka being missing is a huge deal because previously Saka had played basically every game for Arsenal through the years where we saw and we thought maybe he could win a Premier League title. All of a sudden he goes and now they have to play differently. You're looking at, say, the point at the end of the season where they didn't even have a striker. You're having midfielders going to play up front and so on. And from a City perspective, defensively, there was a point where they were playing with a guy called Jemai Simpson-Poussey. Do you know him? You don't know him. Well, it's just signed for Celtic anyway, but the year before, he was in the Youth Cup team for City, yeah? So he's in that team where normally he never would have been.
Oh, poor City.
I
don't understand why that's relevant. Did he play the whole season? Did they need him all season?
That stretch, that middle third of the season, when they were the worst that we've seen in years, that's when he was playing in that key point.
I still think a fully fit City last season would have had similar problems that they had.
I disagree. Because what are you basing that off?
I'm basing off the fact that when they had everyone back, they still couldn't do it.
When was this? When was this at the end of the season?
Right, OK, so you're going to point to Rodri.
No, I'm not talking about Rodri. I'm not talking about Rodri. So, when is this then? When are you talking about?
You look at that run they had towards the end of the season, yes?
Yeah.
When they had a lot of players back.
Yeah.
They did very well.
Yeah.
And a lot of City players and a lot of City fans point to this.
Yeah.
There's still a City's team that lost the FA Cup final.
The FA Cup final, that's where you're going to go down to. That's the specific
Am I
moment
not
you're
allowed
talking
to do that? Your one chance to say, well, I'm not allowed to mention the FA Cup final.
You mentioned the whole period of time, and then you mentioned one specific game.
Right.
So that whole period of time doesn't matter.
So that's not allowed.
The point I'm trying to make in regards to that is in the last 19 games of the season,
yes,
Man City got more points than anyone else in the league. Right. Some of that's down to Liverpool having already won the league towards the end.
Yeah, a very mediocre league.
But that's Dan Thomas of ESPN, by the way.
No, I don't think there's any.
But the point I'm trying to make was the fact that they got better when they had their players back.
Right.
And even though it went under the radar and it was unglamorous for some people, that was more of the City that we're used to seeing. So going into this next season with players striving to be fitter, to be available for longer, the manager, for once, as is the case with other managers, they pick the team that they believe is the best team, not the team that they have to pick based on who's available. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's okay, cool.
And also, you can't take, with all respect, you can't take one random game. Go and watch.
That's what he's trying to do.
Go, listen.
Oh my God. So all of a sudden, Manchester City, who'd won 4 titles in a row, absolutely fall off a cliff. And yet we're all supposed to applaud the fact they had a good run in the second half of the season because they got all their players back.
I've only said that because of what you've been saying.
No questions. I've picked Liverpool to win, and you're trying to pick holes in Liverpool, and then you're trying to pick holes in
City. Hey, here comes the Arsenal segment now. Here we go. Go on, Dan. Talk about Arsenal.
Oh, sorry, we're not in the UK now. Oh, no, thank you so much for your opinions. We love you so much.
Shaka,
please come back.
Shaka, don't say a word.
Shaka, you ask the questions.
I'm staying out of this entirely. Oh boy!
What a
who do you think's going to win the league?
Nobody.
I think Arsenal going to win.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah, do you now? Oh, brilliant!
I think
Why do you think Arsenal are going to win?
They got their striker.
And what, Jokic is going to do what? Score 50 goals?
He's scored a lot of goals, hasn't he? A lot of goals for Arsenal. City still can't defend. Your boys do faces problems.
Arsenal set pieces.
Arsenal haven't bought 5 players to help their team, have they? No, they haven't bought anybody.
No.
Shaka,
yeah?
Who's your predictions?
I've got Liverpool to win the league.
How dare you have Liverpool?
Arsenal second, City third.
Sixth, yeah?
Yeah.
Sunderland going down, yeah?
I'm contracted to have Sunderland going down. This is part and parcel. But yeah, I think it comes down, and Chelsea forward, again, it comes to that front, that top 3. I just feel, again, Liverpool showed themselves as the best team in the league. They've had the best transfer window as well this summer, so I make them favourites yet again going into this one. Arsenal, I think, adding the striker and Gyökeres is exactly what they needed. But for them to finish second, Gyökeres has got to get 25, 30 goals. You've got to get a similar return from Saliba, from their defence, from their set pieces, from Gabriel. Everything that went well last season has to be maintained, and you add Gyökeres getting 25 or 30. I think that's the only way Arsenal keep it tight with those top 3. And I don't think there'll be an awful lot between the top.
Staying healthy as well, Dan. No injuries and stuff. That's the key part. Yeah.
What's that?
Injuries, That's the key
Injuries?
Part. Yeah,
hey, none of you have got Manchester United in the top 6. Would you like to address that?
No.
Why not?
Because they finished so far down the league.
15th.
Yes, they brought in Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko, but they've let a lot of...
I suppose people would argue, well, Tottenham finished lower and you've got them finishing 6th.
Yeah, I just think the manager will turn their team around. I like some of the signings. Unfortunately, James Maddison's been injured. I don't like that at all before the season's kicked off. I just think Manchester United need to bring in a few more players. For me, at this moment in time, if they brought in a centre midfield and a centre defender, I might put them higher. But I just don't think Mbeumo, Sesko and and Cunha, they don't excite me enough, to be very honest. The nice signings for Man United fans, I get that, but I'm not particularly that bothered about them. I like João Pedro, for instance, for Chelsea, more than Cunha, really.